Yo, it's your boy Dean.
Tim.
Teran.
Got another episode of the Dean's Office. Again, I want to thank everyone for listening, like, and subscribe. Go to our Instagram page. Go to Twitter. We're everywhere. As far as Dean's Office, continue to support, follow, comment on all the videos. Before we get into the video, we kind of discussed. We had a big ruling come down, Roe versus Wade. We did have an episode, so you want to check that out. We did have a episode in discussing that. So how do y'all feel? Like, what have the response been? Just right quick, just what?
From what I've seen,
Right
women.
quick, because you seem like you was gonna take. You better say the whole thing.
No, I mean women seem scared that they don't have rights to their own body. And then I saw somebody else say that the judge mentioned that they shouldn't stop there. They should stop at gay marriage and contraceptives.
And interracial, I think.
Yeah, I think I'll join the protest if they stop at contraceptives, making that illegal. I think you might catch me in the streets.
But I just think that I didn't see a need to go back to something that was changed like 50 years ago. My thing is, what's the agenda? And like other people, what's next? Right? Because a lot of these people that still made those laws back then are still in Congress right now. So just think about that mentality. To have that same mentality 50 years ago, we're going back. So we'll see how it turn out, man. Oh, that's why we say vote them out, man. I always say that, vote them out.
Yeah, so I say vote. Like I said, we did do a episode on this the same topic. So go back to our old video and just kind of watch that so you can have our real opinion on what we felt.
What was it called? Your body.
Your body, my choice.
Yeah, your body, my choice. Check it out. It'll tell you everything that we had on that opinion.
But we got a good one today, though, right?
We got a good one. We're gonna lock in today. You know what I'm saying? Some more parenting tips, and let's go.
World, you're needed in the Dean's Office.
Like I stated, we got a good one here on some parenting tips or guide, because things have changed. Parenting don't look the same as when we were younger, and as well when our parents was younger. It's a little different when it comes to parenting. So the main component, I think, that changed or that had the biggest impact on us growing up has been discipline, right? How we discipline your kids. Oftentimes when you see something happen on the news, when the kids get in trouble, the first thing you go to social media, the first thing they tell you is, oh, the parents, it's the parents' fault, it's the parents' fault, it's the parents' fault, right? So now my question is, being that we're impacted by a new parenting, right? Because again, anything involved. My question is, do physical discipline, so beating, spanking, or whatever verbiage you want to use in day and age, popping or whatever, do physical discipline, does it help or hurt our kids? Is it still helpful? Is it still useful in this time and age, or it's not being used enough? That's why we're having so much juvenile delinquents, as they call it, in the courts.
I don't think it has anything. I think that's always been a problem, right? It's just a little bit more advertised now. Kids have always been bad when we was younger. I think back to when y'all was young in 1960 or whatever.
I was a brother in the 60s. Not even close.
But whenever y'all was young, y'all had bad kids around y'all, right? Kids who
got in trouble,
whatever the case may be. So everybody was saying it's the new age kids. I don't think it's none of that. Well, I think it's a systemic and sort of a generational misconception on how we should be raising our kids is the thing, right? I think a lot, and I don't want to generalize it, but I think a lot of the times.
Hold on, before you cut, I'm gonna preface it for you. When we make statements on this show, we're not talking about all, we're just talking about most.
Or our experience, yeah.
Yes.
I would say our experience.
Yeah, but all but most experience, so forth, that we engaged in.
So in my experience, I've seen that, it's a lot of times that like single mothers, and when they single mothers, the mom is just so like, she think that she has to be so hard on the kid, like, you know what I mean? And like she'll curse at him, beat him, almost embarrass them, whatever the case can be. And it makes that boy build up anger inside of him. And obviously he can't direct it at his mother, right? Who else is that anger going to come out to? It's going to come out to other kids. I think beating children furthers that, right? Like I think it
enhances it.
It enhances it. Thank you. That's a better word. It enhances it. Like when you beat a child, they can't hit you back. You know they want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they know they want to. So what do you think that anger gets portrayed at? Whoever gets in their way. You get what I'm saying?
So they got to find a release.
So they got to find a release, and I think they find releases. And this is my theory. I could be wrong, but I think when we talk about gun violence, obviously environmental factors have a big play into it. There's a lot of variables there from what they see, so on and so forth. But I think it originates from that.
So you blaming single moms? They the reason why?
I don't blame single mothers. I just think not even single mothers, even people in marriages, like even you see fathers doing it too. Like, what's going on? Like they'll beat their kid. You see in Optimus football, if a kid not doing well, they'll slap their kid up, throw him down. We've seen it live, where they'll beat their kid up right in front of somebody. You get what I'm saying? Like
they call it daddy ball.
Yeah, they call it daddy ball. So I think the way that you interact with your and I read this somewhere, the way that you interact with your kid 9 times out of 10 is how they would interact with people.
I think to go along your lines, does it enhance the bulliness or the aggression of them? I think not. I think it's the ways that you do it, right? The way that you discipline a child. That's what I believe is going to be effective, right? Because we have to find a corrective way to teach them when they're doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. If we say, hey, don't do that because this and that, what's going to happen? They're going to do it again. But we tell our child, listen, don't put your hand on this stove. It is hot. It's going to burn your hand. What that child going to do? Burn their hand. Why? Because they want to experience it for themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing they're doing now, is trying to go out there and get all this stuff of experience. So it's our job to correct them so they don't make that mistake and go out there and end up in the streets, end up in jail, or beat other people up.
So tell us, Joe Jackson, how do you discipline your kids?
So I'm gonna come back from the old school / biblical way, right? Even though it says that, even though they say that don't spare the rod, you spare the child, right? So I mean, spare the rod, spare the child. So even though they say that, when people think about it, rod doesn't have to mean a stick, an iron, or something. Rod basically says that when you see that child is doing something wrong, you're going to correct them and discipline them in that action, because if you don't do that.
But physically, though, because you know there's other ways to correct the behavior.
What I'm going back to again, I know there's a lot of things that you can correct behavior. I'm talking about things that I felt that is working. I've seen it working in a couple of things that family members that we work with. It worked with me. I think there was a lot of times where I had physical abuse. Right.
Physical abuse? You're going far now. It ain't physical abuse, bro.
I'm just playing. But
you got a beating.
I got beaten, right? So, well, if you looked at the category of some of the beatings that we went through, I don't think it was all.
A rough beating. A couple of rough beatings.
And look at that. And look at perfect example. Look at that. I didn't get beatings. And y'all hold on.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because they was too old at that time to beat you.
That's fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. That's not my point.
That is the point.
Look,
they got tired. After you had to go through what Tim put them through, and then had to go back what Tavares put them through, they was like, there's nothing Terrell can do that's gonna compensate what Tavares, whatever Tavares did.
But that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is,
go ahead.
We all raised in a household and kind of sort of differently how we raised, right? Mm-hmm. I was so lucky to where I came in at a time we had a little bit more money, right?
You did?
Yeah, well, at least
me. Jordan's my
me. I mean, some of the stories I hear y'all talk about, I was like, my God, did we live in the same? Did we live in the same house? I was like,
hey, sometimes it's tough, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because mine's is like, I remember kids used to be complimenting me at school, like, damn, you got Tommy Hilfiger on, you got da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But what I'm saying is, think about it. Think about how we all turned out, right? Derek used to get beatings. Y'all got beatings a lot. I rarely got beatings, but we all turned out good.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm not saying.
So is it necessary?
It is. I think what's missing is nowadays a lot of the kids are not fearful of their parents.
Why
Right?
would you want to be?
No,
I don't want my kid to be scared of me.
No, I'm saying when it comes to when I'm going out there in public, man, I'm not gonna do this because what? When I go home, such and such can do something to me.
If that's that kid's only reason for doing it, that kid is going, when they turn 18, 19, 20, 21, they're going to be the worst one.
No, they keep it in their mind because
I'm-
they don't want to be disrespectful and they know it's gonna come back.
Let me jump just to that point and now let you finish. I think what you're stating is it's not fearful. It's not fear, right? It's more honor. Like when you hear back in those days. No, you shaking your head before I even say what I had to say.
Because he's trying to tell you I want my son to fear me.
I got you. What I'm gonna just tell you like this: when you know when back in the olden days when we was young and past that, it was more state of honor, right? Your name carried weight in communities, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you was not rich, your name carried weight. They would get you the interaction to where I can get my kid in this door because I know you such and such son. I know, okay, there's something happened to you. I ain't gonna do this because I know you're a certain such son, right? So now when we was taught was when you go out the house, you're representing me, right? So if you go out there and act a fool, they gonna think I'm a fool, right? They think I'm not doing what you're supposed to. And I think we had we was a little more conscious of that because we knew if we act a certain way or did a certain thing, they're gonna look at our parents as a certain way, right? So now we was a little bit more mindful of that because we like, man, we don't want them, going back to our mama and telling our mama we this and that, whatever, because we talk. You look at me crazy, but think about it. No, but think about it. When you went to church, everybody know who that kid was, and you went out there, you went and go did something. They not coming back and saying Teran did something. They gonna be like, oh, you seen Barbara's son Teran doing this and that, whatever. It was attached to the parent name. Right, that's how we was raised. Everything was attached. If your kid was bad, your kids did drugs and sell drugs. It's Barbara's son did. TC's son did this.
See,
it's not. Hold on. What I'm saying is, so it's not so much a fear when we was set, right? Because you still got beaten, or you got beaten because you knew you was getting beaten. You wasn't getting beaten because the mama your parents wanted you to correct the behavior. You was getting beaten because you embarrassed them. That was the main reason. And again, you got a beating and they didn't explain to you why you got a beating. So that just telling me you was only getting a beating because you embarrassed me. If you want to act a donkey, don't embarrass me, is what I'm saying. So I think that's a little different than being fearful of, when I get home and get a beating. Because again, even if you got a beating, like I had moments where I did stuff and like, yeah, I'll take that beating. Right? You know what I'm saying? And I was the worst out of all four of us. I was the worst. And again, I still was at a level, and that's why, and I'm going to go to your point, and I think that's why, too, the personality of the kids have to be weighed in as well, right? Just like how, I know we go to football a lot. Go to football. We coached 6U last year, right? Or we first got in 6U last year. Some kids came out there savages, right? They was out there ready to shoot, take your head off. And some kids came out there like, oh, no. What? Right? But I think personality with a little bit of who your parent is and how you've been raised impacts that. So I think, you can give an example of you didn't get beatings and we did. But I think as a general, most people will tell you we were good kids as a whole because my worst behaviors would be considered light to parents that say, oh, my kid was really bad.
Yeah, but I just want to. That's what I say. We grew up in different households because I didn't give a dang what other people thought.
And when I meant to say fearful, but not.
Nah, you meant.
No, I'm true. Because you know that if you get in trouble, it's going to happen to you. Nowadays, even if you're
fearful don't work.
Hold on. Put it. Let's go to other examples. There are many other people who have never put their hands on their child, never, and what their child are. In jail locked up.
Hold on.
And all this other stuff. No, but I'm just talking about the example you said. Hey, I never got beaten. I never got chastised. But look how great I turned out. It doesn't happen like that for everybody.
But I'm not saying absence of discipline is the remedy. I'm saying absence of discipline can be replaced by just talking to someone.
No, you see, you're right. Discipline always got to be there.
Yeah, discipline
it's
always
the form of
physical
discipline.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you tell a parent? No, listen. What do you tell a parent that, hey, Johnny, don't do this, Johnny. Don't do this, Johnny. I'm gonna take away your game. I'm going to take away this. I'm going to take away that. I'm going to take away this and all this, and they're still not trying to do nothing.
The same thing you do when you beat Johnny and he still go out there and get guns and stuff.
I think Johnny will probably be a little more hesitant.
What? So here,
I think he's a little bit more resistant to do that if he know he can get some kind of
I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna be a remedy because as y'all know, I work with kids, kids with mental health and behavioral problems, right? Challenges. I won't say problems, challenges. So what I would say is to what you're asking. So if we have a Johnny that you're using corrective behaviors to address. If you're using those behaviors, you're trying to find corrective actions to address those behaviors. Rather, I think for you, the taking away of those things, right? So then, because I had a kid where they literally the parent took away everything in the room. He took the doors off the hinges. All he had was a sheet, the bed, and whatever, right? And the kid wasn't really. And then I think you should get professional help if it gets to the point where you're making certain behaviors and the kid is not responding. I think you should go ahead and try to get mental health. Seek help. You remember that first video? Try to get them some type of professional as far as therapy, right? That's one, right? So then once we came into the home and we kind of started working with them, and what was identified with the kid, what we saw. I know you like it, but I'm just giving you an example.
No, I'm listening.
Like, he said the help coming before or after the belt.
I'm listening to it. I'm just saying this.
Hold on, let me just tell you the thing.
Hold on.
Before you go, I'm going to let you go.
Give me a second. Different because if I can't afford to get help for my child,
but give me a second. Yeah, you
can. Most of the people you deal with can't.
Yeah, you can. They do sliding scales fee depending on what provider you go to. Most providers offer.
So if you have no money, they got a sliding scale for that one?
Some they have places where if you
it's free.
If you show the income, we have a lot of the families I work with have their yearly income is $15,000.
Dang, I Turner, he trying to tell you that it's free.
I'm open to everything.
I got you right, and if you can't afford that, your kid probably have Medicaid. To be honest with you. So if you have a certain low income, you're more than likely to have Medicaid, and Medicaid pay for the services that I'm talking about. So you come into the home, and then what happened was when I got into the home, and the mom was like, "Oh, we took this out," and I'm gonna tell you too, the mom was a therapist for the school or behavioral something for the school board. So we came in and the mom was like, "Hey, I took this. We took the doors off the hinges. We took all this. He's still not listening. We took his bike because he used to ride bikes." So I said, "Okay," and no behavior has been corrected. So I said to them, and I said, "Okay, the kid is defeated. The kid is already at the point to where you took everything from me. So what do I care?" So I said, "How about we do a little bit of different thinking? Let's give him incentives." So what I would do is when I meet with him every week, we would have at that Friday. We would allow him to give us 5 things that he would want back, right? And the mom would agree, cause this for the next week. So when we came in, these the 5 things that if he does well for this week, I give him back, give him his privilege, right? And then when that Friday come, if he meet that goal line, he get that privilege back, and then we go over another 5 things that he can get back, right? And every week it gave him an incentive to act a little better. Don't get me wrong. He had moments because any behavior is not going to change overnight because again, it's difficult to change. That's like an eating habit. So what we did. So what? And I'm gonna tell you. And what happened was, Shorty had something to look forward to. So he was a little bit more because he wasn't going to school and he was actually leaving the school. He had jumped the wall and go to school, blah blah blah, whatever. But he was staying in school. His grades got a little bit better, and I think the point that he had something to kind of work towards or look forward to that Friday when I met with him on Friday, he was like, boom, okay, Mr. Tavares, this is what we doing, this is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And I think taking away things can be just as probably even more effective than a beating. Because this is my question is to you. You beat the kids. Are you letting them be able to get on the game or are they done for the day?
I can't get over the fact that we're rewarding kids for good behavior.
It's not, but see, because what you're looking.
That's not what we're doing.
Let me ask you.
That's not what he just said.
Let me ask you a question.
So, in order to be good, I'm going to give you something.
Let me ask you, Jesus. We don't all start out in the same place, man. We start out in different sections.
Let me ask you. See, because this is my gripe I have with people that get on the internet and say, "Oh, my kid would never." Right? You right. Your kid probably won't never. Because if you're telling me you had to go get if your kid was fighting a teacher, trying to punch you in the face, trying to do all this, whatever, right? And you corrected their behavior, I got you. You can speak all you want, beat your chest. But if you telling me the worst thing was your kid ain't clean the dishes, he got good grades in school, but I had to talk to the school, but he did right. What do you do for those kids that the mom was telling you that when he got upset, he broke down her door, when he jumped in her face, I think he was like 15 or something like that. And he jumping in your face. Like, what are you doing? So what I'm saying is, we're not rewarding behavior. What we're doing is looking at something different, because that's not normal behavior. What he was going through and what he was displaying at home was not normal, because she done everything that you stated, right? He got whoopings. He got all his stuff taken away. His bikes, his video games, his whatever. All he would do is come home and stay in the house.
I think we're thinking about two types of people.
Yeah.
No, listen, for me. Listen. I'm honest with what I'm saying. When you know your child have severe problems, mental issues, all this other stuff, you're gonna go get help. You're not gonna treat that person the same. That's not the type of person I'm talking about, right? Because at one state, when you're working on your child, working with your child, you know what type of behavior analysts ought to go through. I'm talking about those ones who are what we consider who not on that extreme end, right? Those are the ones that parents go, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, you see them cursing in front of the family. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's cute. Or when they jumping into grown people conversation. Oh, that's fine. Or whatever, that's cute.
But are you beating them for jumping the conversation?
Yes. Why not?
All right, so let me share a personal experience before Timmy get roped up out here.
I know somebody was something, boy. That boy jumping on conversation all the time.
So
we know.
So I got a son, a lovely son, love him to death. TJ, smartest person I believe, and for a kid for his age, very intelligent. Only thing is he don't know how to be quiet, and he likes to make people laugh. He think he a jokester, whatever the case may be. So we've had some difficulties conduct wise with him in school. Like literally the boy had all A's and 2 B's, and then the rest of the ledger on the right hand side for conduct was C's, because he talked too much. But anyway, so he was just going through different stuff. Like he was doing different things at aftercare. He was doing different things in school that it was kind of bad. And it got to the point when I was like, man, I gotta beat him. Like I didn't bypass talking to you. It's just that Timmy picks him up. That's why I talked to Timmy about this. So I talked to Timmy. I said, Timmy, I gotta beat him. And then Timmy was like, just beat him.
Timmy, what? No, let me hold my belt,
honestly, what did I tell you?
So he said, beat him. Make sure you let him know. And
not only that, medical. I said what? He's going through a phase right now.
Yeah,
he's going to grow out of that. Mm-hmm. But what we have to do is correct him and let him know that stuff is not wrong. I didn't tell you the first or the second time he did it, I said, hey, beat him. No. What did I tell you? Go ahead and talk to him and let him know that. So please, I just want to let you know that. And
okay, Joe Jackson.
And that's even when it comes to my kids or whatever, I'd say talking first, because you want to find out what truly the problem is, right? All I'm saying is going to the screen when you talking about people breaking down doors on. No matter how much you hit them, or you taking away, they need help. You need to take them to have social service or whoever to come in and help you with that situation. I would never tell a parent that who kid is going through that, beating is the only way. I'm just saying that we should be able to discipline our child.
But the point I was getting at,
go ahead.
In my story was what I found to be effective. Like I beat him. Like it was, I beat him twice. I still remember I beat him the one time. I don't do it again.
You spanked him.
I spanked him. Yeah. No, I beat him. It was.
Take a belt.
Listen, I can't get into detail. I can't get into detail, but it was a beat.
You applied the pressure.
Yeah, I applied pressure. I'm not going to jail. So look, I disciplined him or whatever, and it was the last time I did it. That I felt guilty for the first time.
Yeah,
because he came in the door and asked him when he drop him off and he know he in trouble. crying immediately. He know he's sad. And I asked him, I'm like, dang, what happened today? and the team like, he'll tell you, whatever. And then I asked him, I got a red or for behavior or whatever. And, I told you what happens if you do it again. So, I had to follow through with it. So I beating him, boom, boom, boom. And we went in the room. I was trying to hide away from Tyler, my youngest son, because when Tyler seen him, he tried to jump on him or jump on me so I won't beat him. So I had to lock him out the door. So anyway.
My dog standing up for him.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Tyler would he'll attack me. So anyway, I was about to do it, and then he fell on the floor. He's like, "Oh, Daddy, please don't hit me." Right?
This is not funny. It's not funny, but it's funny. I apologize. Sorry.
He said, "Daddy, please don't hit me. Please, it hurts. It hurts." And that when he was saying that, like I know TJ can be manipulative sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know what he trying to do, but it was working. I was like, dang it. I was like, nah, I gotta stay strong. And I went through with it. But after that, what I found more effective with him.
I noticed your hand was kind of high when he said it too.
I did it. And then what I found is more effective for him is actually talking to him, because he's a very curious person.
Yes.
So you just gotta just talk to him and tell him why things are bad, whatever the case would be. Quick side aversion from the story. You know what he still talks about to this day?
What's that?
That shooting that happened at Carol City.
For real?
Like, he cannot get over that.
For real?
Yeah, like he cannot. He's like, Daddy, why were they talking to the bad people? Why did they let the bad people in? Like, why would they let bad people in and, people ain't having fun? I was like, I don't know. Sometimes that happens. He's like,
And see, that's the thing right there. Like you said, still can affect them. And those, somewhere down the line, he has to talk about it a little bit more to understand why I stuck with him like that.
Yeah, so that's because he's enamored with that. Like, and that's another thing that he always talk about. He's like, Daddy, did you know Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash?
I told him that because we was driving home. I don't know where we was driving.
It was wasn't that yesterday?
Yesterday?
Or before? Because you were talking about, we said Michael Jordan. And
Yeah,
Kobe
he was
Bryant,
like he
trying
was
to put
calling
them
him
together.
one person. And he was like, he said Jordan Bryant. I said, no, you talking about Kobe Bryant. And he like, oh, so Kobe Bryant. I said, nah, Kobe Bryant died in a car. I mean, a helicopter accident. He like, oh, and he just like paused like oh.
Yeah,
You know,
but because on the court today, when he was playing basketball against another kid, he was calling himself Stephen Curry. The other dude said, he was like, I'm Michael Jordan. And then he turned to me, he's like, is Michael Jordan a real person, Daddy? I was like, I'm like, he is. He's like, he said, then I'm Kobe Bryant then. I'm Kobe Bryant. He said, I know he dead, but I'm Kobe Bryant.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I keep telling you with TJ. TJ, I tell him all the time, 'cause I pick him up a lot. And he's very, he's smart. He knows when he getting on kids, especially mine. My kids, he get on their nerves like crazy because he knows he can do it. When I'm in the car, I say, hey, TJ, you know what you're doing, stop it. And he be like, what? Right? Not one time I ever threatened him, hey, I'm going to spank you or other stuff. I said, no, you need to stop doing that. And then he'll be quiet for the rest of the time. I never had to physically hit TJ. All I did is tell him whatever. The same thing with Tim and to me, I don't really have to physically hit them. It's just that they know. What I'm saying is, especially I tell you with TJ all the time, the boy is very, very, very inquisitive. Like, he will talk your head up because he's trying to find out answers and find the why. And that's why we never should stop that when it comes to that. I answer as much as I can. And at some point I say, you know what, TJ, just be quiet because I'm trying to drive. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's how when it comes to, just like I said, I'm not a therapist. I will never get close. I've been working with children for a long time as well. And you know they exhibit different behaviors when you're talking to them. Just like when we go to play football. You can scream at some kids and what they do, shut down. You scream at some others that put fire in their butt and do all this stuff. So I mention that because when it comes to discipline, I don't think spirit of rob me in a physical thing. For me, spanking is not the first option.
I got you. See,
that's never my first option.
You were picking up first option.
No,
right?
no.
That
was not my first option. My first option is to correct the mistake or correct the wrong part, right? And however I choose to correct it, that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna let it slide or brush it off and laugh at it like I see a lot of people do. And then they wondering, why did their child talk to the adults that way? Or why did their child do this different thing? Once I hear it, I'm going to correct you. I'm going to pull you on the side. Hey, you're not going to do this. I hear you do it again. I'm going to pop you, pop. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying is don't take that. For me, I'm not taking that option out of the equation. It's still there, but that's just not the first thing I'm going to do.
That makes a lot of sense. And for me, I think do what you said just now to where it is stages. But in all those stages, make sure that it's a conversation and not just a reprimand and not understanding what's going on with the behavior. I think too much times, and then also in everyday life, try to reduce your anger towards your child. Like, you get what I mean? Like
How you communicate
to them. Like, you don't have to be so angry all the time, even if they're getting on your nerves or whatever the case may be, because like we said earlier in the podcast, you project all that anger on them, all they're going to do is take it in, knowing they can't reciprocate it to you, and then they're going to put it on somebody else, right? And you're going to be like, why is my child never like this? Well, look how you talk.
Like
look how you talk to him. Look how you do whatever. So my only point is just make sure you communicate. Don't take your stress out of your day on your child. Make sure, raising a child is physically like a job. Like, you won't get up on nobody's job and have an attitude all day. You'll pretend. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you got to do the same thing with your child. Like, how are you going to have that much respect for your boss, some white boss or some person that you don't know, but when it comes to your child or your family members?
Threw a white boss.
You got to put white in there. It hurts more when they white.
Yeah,
I got you.
it hurt.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah, it's like
you
your
got black
slave.
bosses, but when the white bosses, it hurts a little.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine you so tough and mean and whatever at home, and then when it comes to you go to the white people, hey, how you doing? Oh, ha, 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 ha.
Like, you understand the importance of
And I pick that up.
civil.
Not only when it comes to that, you understand, like, I say this all the time, when most men or women go out there and they bossy, do all of this stuff, most of the time, they're not the boss at their household. And it's the same thing. So it's like, when I'm home, he got me control, I can't say nothing. But when I go out on this job and hang with this thing, well, I'm fussing my behind off. I'm telling the people what to do.
Man,
so I understand that what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm just saying. So don't make the situation miserable. Don't make your child miserable. Love your kids. Tell them, like we said in our one of our very first podcasts. Tell them you love them all the time. You should be, if you are yelling at them more than you're telling them I love you or uplifting them, then it's a problem. That child is going to grow up with some type of damage, in my opinion. So that's why I try to make sure every morning I tell my son I love him. At nighttime, every time he's scared to go in the room by himself, and I got to convince him.
Don't worry about it. I go through the same thing.
And I got to convince him. I got to reaffirm him. I got to be like, look, don't worry about it. I said, look, you've been sleeping for 7 years. Nothing's ever happened to you. It's not going to happen to you tonight.
That one night again. Let me
No, I'm just saying, like, a ghost, like, that's what they're afraid of, ghosts and boogeyman. Like, no ghost and nothing has ever, nothing's going to happen to you. And then even when before practice, I try to uplift him to make sure that he's not just fumbling in practice. Like, no, you're going to do good today, man. Don't be scared. Just go, whatever. So be more uplifting than anything.
And I agree with what Terrell said was, don't be angry, right? Right before you're finna do it, sit down, meditate, get some time. So if your child mess up, I advise not to beat them right away sometimes. Go step away, 30 minutes later, talk to them. You know why I got to do this? Because you did such and such and such. Now I'm being in my right mind, my right temperament, so I'm not taking all the stuff that you say the white man at the job and all those other people and the stress and the woman telling me I'm not good and all this other stuff. I'm not taking that out on my child. Yeah. So I would say that's how I would leave it, but just remember who your child is and remember to think about where your mind and your space is when you're doing the discipline.
Just y'all made great points. Again, like I stated, y'all have smaller kids, so y'all doing a great job as far as the kids themselves, because they got straight A's, making these honor rolls, doing all this great stuff. But I think the most important part of it, of being a great parent, is being able to evaluating yourself, working through your flaws. I think the biggest issue why you have some conflict with some of the kids, we parent through ourselves, right? We'll have it where, oh, my mama did this, so I ain't gonna do that. Or my daddy did this, I'm not gonna do that. So I think if you identify some of those concerns that you might have when you was growing up as a kid, and just kind of making sure that it's in line who the kid that you have, right? Because you might need, like you said, you might need a kid that might need that physical discipline. Your kid might need some of that verbal or taken away. So I think being able to evaluate yourself and making sure that when you are disciplining the child, that you're doing it because the child, not yourself. You're not projecting yourself on the child, and that will, I think, will better help you with identifying the best corrective action for that child. And another thing, I think loving on your kid is very important. I know oftentimes, especially with dads, especially with men, We like, oh man, that's soft. But I think loving on them, hugging them, telling them you love them, just giving them that words of encouragement. It don't always have to be tough. You know, you encouraging them negatively, saying, "Oh, you better be tough. You ain't no girl. You can't be so." Like speaking to them differently. Like, I know you can do it. You're a king. You know, if it gets too hard, just take a breather, step back, relax, and fight. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be scared. You know, if you're scared, that's fine. Just continue to fight through that fear. So I think how you talk to your child, the communication to your child, and as well as displaying that discipline through the child's lens, not yourself, will be helpful in making sure that you're choosing the right corrective action for your child. All right? So, again, I want to thank everybody for...
Before you go, I apologize for cutting you off. As you see, we all wearing the same 305 hat, right? And you might wonder, why these dudes wearing these 305 Dolphin hat? These was our Father's Day gift.
Yes.
Right? Because they know how much we love the Dolphins, and we promised them that the next podcast we was going to get on and show them the respect. So we want to say thank you, Melanie.
Yeah, my wife, she got this hat for all of us.
She got this hat for all of us, the men that was in, and she know how much we love the Dolphins.
Fans.
So I just wanted to put that out there because I don't want you to think we're promoting the Dolphins that much or they giving us something. Hopefully they would, because we love the Dolphins. We'll take anything free. So if you know any of us, our birthday, Christmas,
any gifts. As long as it's got a dolphin on it.
You got a dolphin on it, you win with us. But well, I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention that. Thank you for all those who have been watching our Father's Day video and all other videos as well. So,
all right, thank you. So again, I want to thank everyone for listening. You know, go ahead, like, subscribe. As I stated in the beginning of the podcast, we do have a podcast discussing Roe versus Wade and what do we think about it and some of the solutions. So I suggest you go and check that out. And again, thank you for all the support and continue to support us. It's your boy Dean.
Tim.
Teran.
And you rocking with the Dean's Office. Yo.